hit the notification bell if you're subscribed, because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot, and especially the schedule is going to be a little bit intermittent here for the month of July. Yeah. Some Change My Minds, some long-form videos,
as it does every
documentary.
Every
July we take some, we take about 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
So we don't want to hear in the comment section, where are you?
Yeah.
No.
Well, no, it's okay.
We're coming back the next month.
There will be about, I think, 5 to 7 like long-form episodes. We have some Ash Wednesdays, actually. One with Jason Whitlock, one with Nick Apollo and Dave Landau. So we've been pre-taping a lot of stuff. We have to upgrade the studio, and I have to open my chest.
You have to upgrade your heart.
Titanium rods. But no, not my heart's. My heart doesn't work well, but my heart itself is perfect. I'll explain it later. It's my bone is caving into my heart.
Yeah. So what happens if I punch you really hard in the chest?
I die.
Really?
How dare you?
That's a missed opportunity.
So let's talk about California, since it's Cultural Appropriation Month. It sucks. Now, we all know that it sucks. We all know that California is not doing well.
Right.
They've had population loss, which is almost unheard of in a state with that much oceanfront property.
And mountains and beauty everywhere.
And just rich in natural resources, unfortunately rich in natural holes. So
they tend to flock there.
It's just
they grow there.
saturated.
It's the soil. It's something
like
in the soil. I don't know.
Capistrano.
Filled to the brim. So let's start with this. A few reasons why California is up. Hey, do you remember, I think it was about this time last year, when Donald Trump pointed out that California, their wildfires were out of control due to poor forest management? I don't know if you remember it. Let's go back in time.
And I see again the forest fires are starting. It's starting again in California. I said, you got to clean your floors. You got to clean your forests. They have many, many years of leaves and broken trees, and they're like so flammable. You touch
so
them and it
flammable.
goes up. I've been telling them this now for 3 years, but they don't want to listen. The environment.
The environment.
I love how they play that as a
An own? It's actually true.
You clean your floor. And here's what they try to do. They try to go, Donald Trump. I'm surprised they didn't say Donald Trump tried to, Mr. Clean the Floor, tried to pine sol, the redwoods, just like they said Donald Trump tried to inject you with bleach. No, he said disinfectant, said maybe we could get in the body. He said clean the floor. The difference is he says things that sound that are inarticulate, let's be honest, but he knows what he means.
Exactly, and he's not wrong.
Whereas
when he
Joe
says that.
Biden has no idea.
This is not rocket science. Like, I follow this very closely because of the wine business, and you're going to find. I'll give you a fact after you go through.
Okay, well, because keep in mind that Trump was mocked mercilessly by the media. Right here we have from Politico, USA Today. They said that they didn't think he understood the science of wildfires. It says Trump's suggestions have prompted head scratching from experts who say his prescriptions, more raking, less water released into the ocean for environmental purposes, suggest he does not understand the science of wildfires. Then USA Today reported the issue would only get worse if Trump ignores climate change. And Gavin Newsom tweeted, "You don't believe in climate change. You are excused from this conversation." Hey, that's a tactic of the left. Just remove them from the conversation. Just like parents at PTA meetings, or people on big tech platforms, or the president from big tech platforms, or in this case, the president from being correct.
Absolutely. Well, look, you have wildfires that are going to happen in this part of the country every single year. This is not a surprise. What you see, though, is from 2012, I believe, to 2016, or maybe even started just before that, this huge drought, right? Not a lot of wildfires. They had some, for sure, but not crazy. You know when the first year that they had like crazy wildfires in that entire stretch was? 2017. Do you know what happened at the end of 2016? It rained! Stuff grew, then it died, then it caught on fire. You know what happened in 2020? It rained in 18 and 19. Stuff grew, it died, it caught on fire. If you get rid of that stuff, you greatly enhance your chances of avoiding massive, out-of-control fires. By the way, the last two, I believe, were either caused by the gender reveal, or the major ones were caused by PG&E. Right? They've just been sued for that. They had to pay a ton of money for that. They had to go through and retrofit their lines so they couldn't touch it. That's a good idea.
Well, by the way, you get a couple birds in your beard and you're Mr. Arborist.
Well, listen, I want good wine to come from California in 2020 is a complete.
You told me you had a couple of tidbits.
Sorry.
Because you know about wine. That's the whole segment.
That was a deep dive.
No,
that's good. Well, and also, by the way, you were talking about the P&E.
PG&E,
PG&E, sorry, you were talking about them. Then, of course, it's exacerbated by them not clearing debris, by them not doing controlled burns.
Right.
That's what people don't understand.
And listen, by the way, don't buy a house in the middle of nowhere with a fire department 45 minutes away and woods all around you. That's a bad idea.
Well, how am I gonna piss in a giant tree next to David Gergen dressed in a female tracksuit?
Well, no, I'm fine. We just won't count your body as the toll. Like when you die, we'll just be like, no, he didn't die.
There's someone going nuts in the comments section right now if they know. By the way, hit that like button. If you're watching right now, live, this second, you can do it. Hit the like button. If you know what I'm talking about with David Durgan in the Redwoods.
9.
So, guess what? Donald Trump is out of office.
Yeah.
And kind of like Donald Trump's out of office, now we can say, maybe, like before we're saying, no leak. There's no lab leak. And then did he close the door? It might be a leak. Now, Donald Trump is out of office, right? What? He doesn't know anything about the science. Why are you talking about clean the floor? No, clean the floor. What is he? He doesn't understand climate. Okay, yeah, is he out? He's gone. All right, $500 million to start cleaning the forest floors.
Fucking morons,
in California.
Man. Unbelievable.
This comes from Bloomberg. Without all this fuel on the forest floor, California officials contend blazes will be less likely to turn into the mega fires that devour thousands of acres.
Well, that's interesting. It's almost like that's a good idea.
And by the way, this isn't conjecture. All sources available at LightEarthCrowder.com. Scientists said, well, we actually thought the lab leak might have been possible, but we didn't want to be attributed with Donald Trump. Kind of like people said, well, you don't need a mask after the vaccine, but we don't want people to think that we're freedom-loving Republicans.
Right. Well, there's actually an expert in an AP article from Alberta who said in one paragraph, he said, I have Donald Trump's plan. I'm paraphrasing. Donald Trump's plan, cleaning, whatever. That's not. And then the next paragraph down, absolutely. It actually helps if you do that to make sure there's not enough fuel for fires.
Of course it does.
That's what I was like. Are you the same person that said that? Just the paragraph above?
Yeah.
That's why I need to be governor, fellas.
Yeah.
You can make the change.
You seem
necessary.
Positively reasonable.
Well, he's gonna piss him out. It's a fire hose. Guy took
That's why you don't cut it off.
She took on
dangerously close to my home in Malibu, as you know, fellas.
Assault weapons is another issue in California. It's not just wildfires that suck, and of course they're doublespeak politics. A few weeks back, we covered how a judge, of course, said that the assault weapons ban in California, you can bring up the overlay, was unconstitutional.
That was amazing.
Right? Government is not free to impose its own new policy choices on American citizens where constitutional rights are concerned. We said, well, we don't know if this is going to stand. Well, right now it's not. The Ninth Circuit blocked Benitez's ruling, furthering review. And this is important to note. This is also why when people say, hey, the court, look, any institution can be politicized. You have a judge, and then you had other judges say no. And then maybe, you never know. Sometimes it goes to the Supreme Court, and they decide another. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
That's why we need a system of checks and balances.
Right.
Of course. That's also why you should have some people who are somewhat accountable.
Yeah, well, and it shouldn't be like that, but it is. The Ninth Circuit, is notorious for being super liberal, right? Anything that goes through the D.C. circuits as well, same thing's going to happen. Same thing for these guys. They do all California, the West Coast, Arizona, all of it. So it's always going to happen like that. Just wait till it gets to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, we'll see. And by the way, this ruling is especially bad in California. Really, because of, it's most bad for, I don't know if it's considered a term or not, but rooftop cranes. People know about rooftop cranes. It's actually a thing in California.
What's that?
It is.
But it's not what everyone thought. They have a problem with, they have a problem with the
CNN.
Godzilla rooftop. Is this in California?
Yeah, it's California.
Breaking, yeah.
Well, I just hope the girl from
CNN.
Stranger Things is safe.
I know. Well, look, that just usually pisses him off.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not going to be enough.
So homelessness, though, before the pandemic, 2018 to 2020 rose 24%.
Jeez.
And
Those my bros.
Yeah, 24%.
Wow.
And of course, San Francisco is one of the main, I guess you would say, main drivers of this, main culprits, main shitholes. Over 8,000 homeless people out of a population of under 900,000.
Yeah. Club's growing.
That's a lot.
That's a huge number of homeless people. Piles of human crap
It's almost
litter
like they
the streets.
Had laws that encouraged people.
Yes. You would almost think so.
be able to
And what's
camp out
funny
there.
is the mayor of Austin, when he was on Joe Rogan's show, he was
Yeah.
talking about how, we really wanted to get a handle on the homeless problem. So I spoke with the mayors of San Francisco and Seattle. Come again, stupid?
Did you? Really?
What?
I'm kind of retarded.
Yes.
This is because, and then people say, why are you being tribal? When you have a mayor of a major city in Austin who really could speak with any other mayor of a major city in Texas that's not Austin, and he's reaching to the worst San Francisco and second worst Seattle. Let's just be honest about this. When people try and say, they only try and accuse you of being tribalistic when you're a conservative and you just draw a line in the sand and say no. This is what Democrats do. We know it. There are no people who reach across the aisle anymore. And I don't know where you find common ground when it's the party that believes abortion up until and including birth. And they will actively oppose Donald Trump on forest fires, on lab leaks, on economic policies, just because it's from Donald Trump. How do you find common ground with that?
Right.
This is another thing, of course, rolling blackouts in California. Now we're talking about it. California. And again, keep in mind, this is a state that has so much water, and it also has a lot of running water. It should. It's like there's also, a lot of people don't know this, there's a lot of fresh water in California too. Not as much as like Michigan or Wisconsin, but it also has oceanfront property. You're talking about a place that has weather that is conducive
It
toward
rains.
maintaining a population.
Yes.
Really, you would have to attempt to screw it up, which they have.
Which they succeeded.
Doesn't take that much effort for them.
Do you ever just drive across this country and you like just drive through the Phoenix area and you go, wow, someone initially really put some juice into setting up camp here.
A lot of energy.
Pre-air
Offended.
conditioning, nothing grows.
Yeah, let's just stop here.
Like that breeds a different kind of person. Whereas you just walk into California and you have to duck from falling fruit. It's just
It's annoying.
abundance of everything.
The whole coast is just,
If you were to go back 100 years and tell people, like, yeah, actually, one of the fastest growing areas are in places like Texas and Arizona. They'd be like the place that doesn't grow. And you said you won't believe it, but 100
Deserts?
years from now, California is going to be covered in human. What? And you're going to run out of water. Okay, obviously you're the crazy homeless person because it's California.
Anything grows there.
How do we run out of it? Yeah, you spit a seed.
Seriously.
And it blossoms. It blooms. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, you know what? Wait till you learn about Gavin Newsom. But the rolling blackouts, and I know you're going to say Texas, but it's the totality of this. And yes, Texas may have rolling blackouts, but you also have to understand that we should be able to have an energy grid that can handle this. It's because of bureaucrats who don't allow us to utilize it properly. Just like California, but at least we don't have to save the smelt.
Well, you remember the freeway that had to be rerouted because of the plant that was believed to be extinct. They had to avoid. They rerouted the freeway.
This is in California?
In California.
Yeah.
Bent the entire interstate because of a plant that was believed to be extinct that had to be left to flourish.
Could they just build that
couldn't
freeway
transplant it.
right over San Francisco? Like on San Francisco? Like just drop it like Roller Coaster
fairly
Tycoon
good idea.
onto San Francisco.
We'll give you a warning.
Rolling blackouts, something they have. 2/3 of California's electricity comes from carbon-free sources. Well, that's
Right.
very nice.
Yeah.
Except it means they have to have rolling blackouts. Gavin Newsom, God, he
Very
has to have
popular.
people to shut off
Prick.
large appliances and lights at 3 p.m. every day when this happens.
Oh.
During this major heat wave, we need to conserve energy. A few simple things you can do. Set your AC to 78 degrees or higher during 3 to 10 p.m. Turn off unnecessary lights. Use major appliances during cooler times of the day. So I guess cooking dinner is out.
Yes. Sorry. By the way, you know what 3 to 10 p.m. is? The hottest part of the day,
Yeah.
typically.
Basically
Until
all
about
day.
8 o'clock. Thanks a lot, Gavin.
You also can't like take showers and like do laundry.
Well, that explains
One time
things.
we
You can't
went
do
to
anything.
It's pretty
It
bad.
does. It
Yeah.
very
It's almost
much so.
nicer to be homeless.
Yeah, this goes to droughts. The most recent one lasting 5 years in California,
Yeah.
right? 2015 to 2016. And why can't they pump more water? Environmental laws, of course. So this goes back to 2008. The Fish and Wildlife Service, they placed limits on water that could be pumped out of Sacramento, San Joaquin, Delta, and sent south to Central Valley farmers to protect, Delta smelt. Yeah, Delta smelt. So you kind of stole my thunder on that one. Last week, though, we know about the smelt before.
Right.
But now, this is last week, 4 hydroelectric dams in California and Oregon, they have to save migratory salmon.
Oh.
Another fish?
We need to save the salmon.
Yeah,
now.
they have to be demolished.
Oh, okay.
Save the salmon.
What about power to save people's lives?
Well, they got to get their omega-3s. You heard of krill oil? Oh, by the way, we can't do that either. Remember? That was the thing, krill oil. Krill used to be something they put in dog food. I'm just going off here because
You should.
I don't really care. Krill oil used to be used in dog food. They would mash it up, and they would
Good
say, it's the most
stuff.
sustainable food in the planet because it's
Yeah.
at the bottom of the food chain. Right? They always say, don't go after the apex predator. They said krill. And I'm like, krill's at the bottom of the food chain. You can't take krill.
That's what everything else is based
They
off
can't
of.
take salmon. You can't take krill. Just eat the cicadas.
Once every 20 years.
California is a master class in how to screw up a state,
Yeah.
just like Detroit is a master class in how to screw up a city. People don't know this. Detroit, wealthiest city in the world in the 1950s.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievable. When I go to California, when I look at the natural beauty and the resources that they have, and honestly, once you get out of the major cities, the people are very conservative. I had a person, I'm not going to name them, winery owner in my shop yesterday. And Gavin Newsom came up, and before I'm always careful because I don't really know where they come down. He came up in conversation. And she goes, "Oh, that boob. Oh, geez, we hate him." It's just like they're conservative.
I appreciate you didn't give the name the name out.
I can't.
So because the Mondavis wouldn't appreciate you talking.
No, I'm surprised you know Mondavi.
The Sterlings.
Yeah. What are you doing? Like reading the bottom shelf of the grocery store?
Mr. Menage a Trois.
Okay, that's not a person.
It was Madame Naomi.
No.
I don't know. These are wines that I see.
I think I got a shot at this thing, Gerald.
Barefoot.
We did want to include one positive thing about California, though, because I know there are good people, like you said, left in California.
They are.
So actually, our correspondent Thomas Finnegan went down there to give us some valuable history. There is a lot of rich and vibrant history in California.
Informative.
Its problem is the present. So we sent down Thomas Finnegan to give us a brief history lesson on some California facts.
Good morning, Stephen. I'm here in sunny California to give you some safety lessons for skateboarding.
Oh, great.
California is, of course, where skateboarding started in the 1970s.
Yep.
With the Dogtown and Z-Boys.
Z-Boys, that's exactly correct. He's got it right. Okay, Mr. Finnegan.
Oh, yeah, be careful there.
Safety first.
Thank you for our viewers. We appreciate it. All right. That helmet's not sized to fit.
It's bleed.
All right. Thank you, Thomas Finnegan.
Yeah, he's a good man.
And I'll leave it with this, and we're going to take our costume winner at Mug Club. You guys can comment below. Also, what this is, since this is the last week of Cultural Appropriation Month, it's been a wonderful June. Let us know which countries you want next year.
Yeah.
And we'll compile a list. Here's what you also have in California, and it's very similar to Michigan. Okay. I use these states as examples because they're states that shouldn't suck, but they do. You have a few people on the coast in California making. Well, who do you think is more affected by not building dams and needing access to water? It's people inland. Right? It's people inland. These are people where they're living in regions where probably they're getting less water. This really affects them. But because of people on the coast who don't know what it's like to live in an actual desert climate, not near a large body of water, those people suffer. A perfect example in Michigan. There was a vote, I believe it was the UP, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can call me on it. I don't remember the exact region. It was either the Upper Peninsula or a northern county in Michigan. They had a vote, which shouldn't have been a vote. They have a wolf problem.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you see a wolf, no vote. You deal with the wolf. Now, there was a significant enough wolf problem where they wanted to allow a wolf hunt. Now, I know you guys may have some opinions on whether you should be able to endanger species. Okay, fine, whatever. But the point is, there was enough of a prevalence of wolves in this area of Michigan where they said we need to have a concerted wolf hunt. And they weren't allowed to because of people who live nowhere near the wolf area of the state saying that, well, it would be mean to take out wolves. And they said, no. We have wolves. It's a problem with our livestock. It's a problem, we're concerned for our kids. And they said, yeah, well, you should think about the environment and that the wolves keep the coyotes in check. And they said, well, okay, be that as it may. Right now, we're a little more concerned with keeping the wolves in check. That's at the forefront of our mind. Yeah. And because of some hipster at a coffee shop downstate, I believe it was a statewide vote, I could be mistaken, someone voting in Flint or someone voting in Detroit, people don't get to keep their own families or their own livestock safe. This is what happens. You have these elitists who have voted policies into their, and by the way, not just voted, but voted in elected officials who then bring with them, like we're talking about, the deep state, and the deep state happens even on a local and municipal level, unelected officials who serve to maintain the status quo of regulations for unelected officials. And guess what happens? It affects the rest of the state like a cancer. Make it a good point, because we got to go out on this.
California is doing the same thing. You cannot shoot a deer that is eating all of your grapes or a turkey that is destroying your grapevines. You can't do it because somebody took a vote in LA and San Francisco and said, oh, it would be mean to shoot the deer.
You can't shoot them?
You cannot shoot, even if they're eating all of your grapes. And
you cannot shoot the deer or the turkey. Look,
turkey or any of those.
This is why I need to be governor of Michigan, although I wouldn't be governor of California because I wouldn't want to live there. No. But you know what? Okay, you can't shoot them. Poison the grapes. Problem solved. All right, we're going to Mug Club. Going to read your costume winner. Leave a comment below. Wish me luck with the surgery, but you don't have to.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.